Welcome to the Bad Mom Show. Balanced and disciplined, mom on a mission. My name is Kristi Vaccaro and I am your host, The Bad Mom. I am here to help you reclaim your confidence through macros and weightlifting, all while removing the mom guilt of taking care of you first. Please stick around for all of the latest in fitness, nutrition, and mindset for mamas. Let's do this. What's up, guys? My name is Kristi Vaccaro, and this is your first official episode of The Bad Mom Show. And we're going to dive right in to mom guilt, because that's kind of what makes us all feel like a bad mom, right? When we take time for us, when we do things for us, when we say, no, honey, I can't do that right now because I got to do my workout, or I got to prep my meals, or fill in the blank with any other self-care or thing for you that you might need to do. That inherently makes us feel like a bad mom, which is why we're going to reframe what bad mom is to balanced and disciplined mom on a mission. Because when you take care of you, you can better take care of everyone else. I'm sure you've all heard the analogy when you're on the airplane and the flight attendant comes up and she's like, in case of an emergency, put your own mask on before helping others. It is the same thing when we talk about our fitness and nutrition. I have worked with so many women, hundreds of women. I've talked to hundreds of other women, and they're all like, I just don't have the time. I don't have the time to take care of me. I have all these other things. I got to run my kids here, and I got to run my kids there, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. And there's no time left. And if you want to be the best mom, the best wife, the best friend, the best you for you, you cannot ignore your health. The foundation of health lies in movement, nutrition, your sleep, and your mental health. And a lot of those things, the movement, the nutrition, and the sleep, will equal better mental health for you. And when you have better mental health, when you have better physical health, you are just an all-around better person. So this is your sign, this is your permission to do things for you. And at the end of the day, if it comes down to time, I would bet if we audited your time, we could find some windows of opportunity. One thing that I have really honed in on over the last decade in being in fitness is finding the opportunities. Because I don't like missing. I don't like taking no for an answer. And I don't like being unable to find the solution. Like, I am a solution hunter. Part of what makes me so good at my job and coaching is that when my clients bring me a problem in their life and they're like, I can't figure this out. Maybe it's their macros. They can't figure their macros out, or they can't figure out how to properly time block or whatever. Like, I will find the solution. They're traveling. They can't figure out like where they're going to work out or where they're going to get healthy meals. Like, I got this shit. Like, I love finding solutions. So when, I had my kiddos who are now 5 and 7, oh my gosh, moms, like, and dads, like, y'all get it. Like, the second you get a routine down, a schedule down with their sleep patterns, the little ones, they do 2 naps a day. Once you kind of narrow down those like 2 nap windows, like your window of opportunity. But then just as soon as you get in a good groove with the double naps, they'll drop a nap and then you have to move the other nap. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's constantly changing. You've got to be able to pivot. Like, that has to be the theme of your life. Really for everyone, but especially for parents, you've got to be able to pivot and find new windows of opportunity. One thing that a lot of my clients will say to me, in the beginning is, I'm just not a morning person, or I have to work out at night, or, afternoon is really the only time I'm motivated to work out. Like, all of those phrases and statements are really limiting you in your opportunities throughout the day, because while it may be your preference, it may not be your reality. While it may be your preference, it may not be your reality. So that's great that you have a preference on when you would like to work out and when you feel like you're most motivated and optimal. But that doesn't mean that that's the reality. And that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. So you've got to be able to pivot and move those times around. Before kids, I was going to a CrossFit gym and I went to the noon. I was part of the noon crew. That was my jam. Before I went to the CrossFit gym, I was working out. I was like powerlifting at like 8 p.m. because I worked graveyard shift. So I would work out really late and then I'd go to work really late and work all and then sleep. That was a season. Then the noon crew CrossFit, like that was a season. And then insert my first son and I had to navigate his nap schedules and get that in when I could. Then insert another son. And now we got one that dropped a nap, one that's sleeping all the time. Like, it's just a shit show. That's okay because it's a season, right? We know that it's not forever. All of these seasons will end. Another season will begin. But you've got to be willing to pivot and you've got to be open to shifting your preferences or just accepting your reality. That's probably a better way to phrase it. You've got to accept your reality of where you're at in life right now and being willing to change it up. So with that, also communicating to your people. Communicate to your husband. Communicate to any childcare help you may have. Communicate to your kids if they're older. Maybe you're getting into fitness and like prioritizing your health and your kids are a bit older. Like even in that like 3, I'll say 3, all the way up to, 17, 18 when your kids are out. Saying, hey, this is important to me. I'm going to do this. When I get back, we will do this. For my 5 and 7-year-olds, they've been out in the gym since they were in my belly, but they expect a daily workout when they're home from school. I train early in the morning before they wake up or in the afternoon while they're at school. But if they're home, it is no surprise to them that mom and dad are going to step out into the garage and do a workout. And they don't, oh man, please do that. Like they don't do that because they just expect it. The reason they expect it is because we've made it a non-negotiable part of our life from the beginning. One thing I have heard parents say is, well, my kids aren't used to that. Like we've never done that. Like this isn't part of our routine. That's okay. We are all able and capable of changing up our routine and also explaining that to our kids and like, hey, mommy and daddy are going to start working out now. It's going to be part of our, daily routine. You should come out and join us. If your kids are little and they're not, able to actually do workouts with you, here's what I suggest. Create a safe space for them. Even if your intention is to work out during nap time, your reality is they might and probably will wake up and interrupt you at some point. So what did I do? I had a pack and play in my garage. I had a bumbo seat. I had a little bouncy strap them in little thingy. I had a floor mat. I had toys. I had options. When they got a little bit older, I had their chocolate milk. I had Go-Gurts. I had snacks and magnets for the garage fridge. And I had, a plastic tub of just trinkets and toys that they could just sort through. And I had all this stuff. And then once they were a little bit older, I got foam gym equipment for them because monkey see, monkey do. And instead of making it, oh no, this is a dangerous place. This is where mommy and daddy work out and this and that. I made it a space that they could join in. So having, the little tiny dumbbells. Ours were foam. And then we got like 2.5s for them. My 7-year-old, well, he's going to be 7 in, let's see, a week, 10 days. He said, "Hey mom, maybe I could use some of my birthday money to buy bigger weights." I was like, "Sure, buddy, you can do that." Like, okay, when we have weights, but he was like, "Maybe I could buy more gym equipment." That's my almost 7-year-old, because he loves it. And we've always made it an inclusive space that he can be a part of it. So please, I encourage you to make your space child friendly. And, heck, they've dropped little weights on their toes before and like had to learn some lessons the hard way. Don't make it like a danger zone for your kids. Like they're not allowed in your space. Like make it inclusive, get them comfortable and familiar. And if your kids are older, let them get involved. There's so many different ways that your kids can get involved in your workouts. And this is if you're feeling like so guilty that you can't take that time away. If your kids are not in a place where they're going to be out in the garage, maybe you are going to leave and go to the gym, and that's where that guilt is coming from. And in that case, I encourage you to just remember how refreshed and happy you're going to be when you get back from that workout. You're going to be a new mom or a new dad when you take that time for you. I remember vividly in my early postpartum, like weeks postpartum, obviously I couldn't, full go work out. I just wanted to go to the gym. Like that was my thing. I just wanted to go to the gym. I was a couple weeks postpartum and instantly, I was breastfeeding. Instantly I was like, oh my God, like he's going to have to take his first like pumped milk out of a bottle. What if he doesn't take it? I'm just going to go and we're going to try. And I'll never forget, I pulled into the parking lot and my husband sent me a picture of my son taking a bottle. And I instantly felt this like overwhelming sense of relief. Like, okay, we can do this. Like I can step away for an hour and a half and the world isn't going to implode. I don't need to feel guilty right now, because when I got back from whatever like stretching and like rehab I did at the gym, I felt so refreshed and empowered. And like, okay, the wheels stayed on the bus. It was okay. And that's my message to you is take that time, because when you come back, you're going to be such a better person. You're going to feel like, okay, I poured into myself. You've all heard the quote, you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's a quote because it's so true. You cannot walk around as a shell of a human and then be expected to show up for your people in the best way. And if you're overweight, it's hard. It's even harder. Motherhood, fatherhood is tough. If you're carrying a lot of excess weight and you're not able to comfortably get up and down off the floor or chase your kids around or do all of these high demands of parenthood, carrying 2 kids up the stairs, carrying kids and groceries and all of these things, if those things are difficult for you, you shouldn't feel guilty for getting yourself healthy. Like no matter where you're at on the spectrum of health, of like, super, super fit or have a long way to go, the guilt is pretty much the same of doing the thing. I think the very, very fit people who have been kind of consistently showing up and doing that for themselves, there's probably a little bit less. But even for me, I would be in that category, right? I've been fitnessing and prioritizing my nutrition and doing all these self-care things for me far, far before I became a mom. But there are still moments where my kids will be like, hey mom, will you play this game with me? As I'm like lacing up my tennis shoes to go for a run or lacing up my tennis shoes to go out into the garage to work out. And it pains me instantly to say, no, honey, mommy's going to do this. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say it confidently. Hey, buddy, mommy's going to go for a quick run in, 20 minutes. I am so excited to play that game with you. And that is not only standing up for yourself and doing something for you that you know is going to make you better on the other end. But it's also teaching your children that the world doesn't revolve around them. And this is another really important message, because you don't want your kids to grow up to constantly be dropping everything they need to do or want to do for other people. And we fall into this category of constantly going, okay, fine. Okay. And we're just like walking yes men. And it's like, no, we have to set boundaries, and setting boundaries with your kids or your spouse to say, hey, I need this for me. That's a really important lesson to teach our children as well. And so however you need to reframe it in your mind, I'm doing this because I need to be healthier so I can live a longer life for my kids. I'm doing this because I'm struggling momming with all this excess weight. I need to get it off. I need to get healthy so I have one client who, I love this story so much. So she's lost 80 pounds so far. She's 20 to 25 pounds away from that 100-pound mark with me. And I remember our first consult call. And one of the things she said she wanted to be able to do was like play with her kids in the park, go for bike rides, go for runs, just be active with her kids. And they went on a vacation a couple months into our journey. She had already lost a decent amount of weight. And her daughter's favorite memory was playing tag. And she wouldn't have been able to do that before as comfortably as she did. And she still, her number one goal is just to be able to be really active with her kids, knowing that the person she was when she, was newer postpartum or a couple years into motherhood, she had 100 pounds to lose. And she wore that extra weight around and struggled. Now 100 pounds lighter, she's going to be 100 pounds lighter this year. She's able to go for runs and go for bike rides and play tag and play in the park and do all these things. She had to say no to her kids a lot. She had to say no in the short term so she could say yes in the long term. So it's really important in those moments of mom guilt when you're feeling like a bad mom to go, this is so I can say yes to all of the things for many, many years to come. And knowing that, and then obviously the mental aspect, which I've dabbled with, of when you're feeling pent up, working out, running, Peloton, whatever your mode of fitness is such a good mental release. When you're feeling resentful, when you're feeling just bottled up and you just need to release this energy. It's like kids, right? I always say, they need to get their wiggles out. Like we need to get our wiggles out. We got to get our wiggles out. There's a reason kids are so active and busybody. We need that same release. And so whatever your mode of fitness is, get that in and don't feel bad about it. It's making you a better mom or a better dad. So I hope today's episode, first official episode of the Bad Mom Show, I hope it was encouraging for you. I hope it was enlightening and has motivated you to get up and say yes to yourself, yes to your fitness, yes to your movement, and potentially no to your kids for a second. It's temporary. Remember, it is quality, not quantity of time. So become the best version of you. If you are not following me, please head over to Instagram. You can find me at FitLV Fitness and Nutrition, or you can search me on Facebook, Kristi Vaccaro. Please give this a like, a follow, a share if you loved it. One of the most valued and free ways to help the creators that you love is just by sharing their content. So please like and share this with your mom and dad friends. And my sign off, peace, love, and burpees. And as always, thanks for being here.